Sharp. For my oral presentation, I decided to use a poem called Cage. Cage is a poem by Josephine Miles. Cage is actually a older poem that the source is actually the University of Illinois Press, and it was back in 1983 when this poem came out. From my understanding of Cage, and the reason why I think they named it Cage, because it sounds like it's like an argument or tension between a couple maybe. And the reason I believe that they're calling it Cage, because they're explaining basically how the couple is trapped in the home. And of course, when you're arguing with your loved ones or when you're arguing with your mate, it can sometimes feel as if your home is just a cage. So the poem starts off as through the branches of the Japanese cherry, blooming like a cloud which will rain, a rain white as the sun. At this point, I think it's basically explaining the outside of the home. It's explaining the type of trees that are outside the home. It's explaining the clouds. It's explaining that the rain is coming. Then it begins to go, the living room across the roadway cuts its square of light, and in it fights. Then I think it's now going into the home description. It's describing the home. It's describing the cuts in the square of the light. And I think this is where we're getting to the point where they're talking about the cage. And it says, and in it fight, two figures, hot, irate, stuck between sink and sofa in that golden cage. So now it's saying that there are two people fighting. When it says two figures, the two people there are hot, they're irate, and they're stuck between the sink and the sofa in this golden cage. At this point, they're saying that the two people are fighting, and it feels as if they're stuck. Maybe one person is standing by the sofa, maybe one is standing by the sink. And at this point, they're caged in this house, and it's explaining basically that they're arguing. Then it goes out to say, come out into the night, walk in the night. It is for you, not for me. So now I think the poem is basically saying that someone needs to go out, maybe leave the house, leave the cage, as it explains, and maybe take some fresh breaths of air. Next it says, the cherry flowers will rain. Their rain is white, cool as the moon. Listen how they surround. At this point, it's going back to the outside scenery of the house. It's explaining the rain once again. And when I think it says cool as the moon, and before it started talking about the cherry flowers outside, again, it was basically saying that someone needs to go outside. So maybe they're saying that someone needs to go outside, cool down, when it says cool as the moon. Then it says, listen how they surround. Maybe it's saying, cool down with the rain. The rain is coming. You can go outside, cool down, listen to the surrounding of the rain. That could sometimes bring peace. The rain could be very peaceful. So maybe that is what they mean when they say, listen how they surround. And at the end, it says, you swing among them in your cage of light. Come out into the night. So basically it's saying whenever you're home or whenever your house is feeling like a cage or there's an argument, maybe someone should be the bigger person and step out and get some fresh air and just cool down. This was a really good poem. It was a really simple poem, but it really had a lot of meaning. I completely understand basically where they got the whole title from as the cage. And the cage all along within the poem was basically the house. And there were a couple or maybe of a family that were fighting. And it basically explained that maybe someone needs to be the bigger person, step outside, cool down, and come back in. And maybe your life or maybe your home will not feel so much as the cage that they're explaining in this poem.